Something just changed, chosen one, and this time, divine justice is working in your favor. Your public vindication will be much more significant than the serious violation you endured. At this particular moment, the season has changed, and I want you to know that you won't be vindicated easily. This won't be some kind of covert, clandestine apology. What is about to happen to you will be seen, heard, and proven. Some individuals disappeared from your timeline because of this. That's why the atmosphere is quiet and tight. They also sense it, the coming of your ascent. Your public atonement has caused what once shattered you to tremble. Let me tell you what keeps coming up in the spiritual world before we go on to the vindication. Transgression. The term that won't go away is that one. You are aware of the ways in which you have been violated, and you continue to learn about them. Some of the infractions were very flagrant and in your face. Others, however, were secret, carried out in the dark while you were grinned at. They betrayed your confidence. There was a breach of your reputation. They took away your prospects. Someone defiled your name. In rooms where you were voiceless, words were whispered against you. Before you got there, conversations were tainted. You turned your words into weapons. This is where the deepest cut was made. You blamed yourself for some infractions because they were so subtle and well-planned. Perhaps you were overly sensitive, you thought. Your soul knew, even if you were only dreaming. Your gut was screaming, and now it's all going to be revealed. Pay attention. These shadows are swarming over you as you sit, pointing down, hovering over you, and obstructing your light. Looking up from where you are seated, these shadows seem enormous, strong, and in control. These shadows seem to have total control, and everyone who has been against you is symbolized by those shadows. Every betrayer, every offender, every saboteur. The scenario seems to be insurmountable from your vantage point, but I want you to comprehend this. You're not a little person. You were never little. You had just taken a seat, and those shadows become smaller as you get up and reach your full height. The shadows turn into insects. Small, unimportant, and movable. Your location, not the strength of the object above you, was the sole factor that made anything seem large. To make people comfortable, you've been sitting for too long, shrinking yourself, and dimming your brightness. However, that season finished recently. It's time to get up right now. When you do, see the results. Observe how quickly those enormous shadows become into gnats. Observe the speed at which influence fades. Observe your self-confidence erode when others recognize your blunder. You were seen as being short. You were only sad. People believed you to be weak. All you were doing was sleeping. People believed it was possible to tower above you. However, you were listening, building power, and waiting for divine timing the whole while. The instruction has now arrived. Get up. Something has been going on behind the scenes while you've been recovering, rebuilding, and working in secret. Not everyone took the falsehood seriously. People were taking notes, listening, and observing. Some could see the sabotage. Others were aware of the manipulation. Those with the ability to see saw the breach, and quiet was not due to agreement, but rather to a lack of time, yet memory persisted. The correct observers were able to distinguish between who you really were and who you were being portrayed as. And your name has been mentioned in discussions about which you have no knowledge. The plots turn. Your notoriety was unintentionally raised by the same individuals that attempted to ruin your reputation. People were fascinated about you because of your obsession with talking about you. Your name kept showing up, and it caused someone else to wonder, who is this person that keeps coming up? Intrigue was developed by a fixation on you. Attempts to undermine you elevated you in the eyes of those who were able to spot dishonesty. God is turning evil around for your benefit. It's more than simply a kind expression. That's what's really taking place in the natural and spiritual worlds of the moment. There are individuals who are seeing you from very different perspectives right now. They're seeing your strength. People are noticing how you handled the situation. You are quite resilient. Your enthusiasm is appealing. These folks sense strength where others see vulnerability. These folks perceive success when others see failure. Additionally, you're attracting the proper connections, possibilities, and alignments while your violators are frantically trying to preserve false impressions. Doors are opening and you're not even trying. Opportunities are coming to you, but you're not advertising yourself. It's a favor. That's already vindication in action. The cosmos is adjusting your path because of it. Additionally, there is a certain person who has been observing you. People have told stories. Your name keeps appearing, and curiosity was strong enough to explore rather than be discouraged by unfavorable things heard. They ignored the noise. They saw your character. Your work was seen. Your honesty was observed. Additionally, preparations are underway for someone to come forward. This is romantic to some. People see you as a reward. You look hot in vindication. Someone was drawn to the way you addressed violations. Others see this as chances for professional business relationships, partnerships, and advancement. In any case, you're going to observe something that is developing but is not yet visible. Let me now show you something that will astound you. The silence of some of the persons who abused you has become suspect. There has been a retreat. The decision was made to isolate. It is no longer frequent to show up where it used to be. Speaking up is no longer as common as it once was. The spirit of the hermit has taken control, and there's a particular explanation. There is a sense that something is coming. They feel what's going to burst open. Deep inside, there is knowledge that the truth is emerging. Nighttime anxiety is genuine. They are replaying scenarios. It's absorbing to wonder whether you know. It's desperate to hope for your quiet. There is continual prayer for hidden secrets. However, once God determines the moment for disclosure, secrets are no longer kept hidden, and you need to be exposed in order to be vindicated. Silence is good news. The poisoning of your environment is over. The dissemination of lies has stopped. Your influence is growing while yours is decreasing. It was believed that hiding offered protection. However, withdrawal is a silent confession of guilt. Being silent is a silent confession. Questions are already being asked. Why is it so silent now? What caused the disappearance? And the answers to those questions will reveal everything. Absence will scream guilt if you stand up and speak your truth, and certain individuals are nowhere to be seen. If nothing wrong was done, why the hiding is a common question, but here's the secret. Your vindication does not end because you are hiding. Your ascension is not impeded by your absence. You will be vindicated no matter who appears. Promote this video to assist more selected people become aware of this if these words made you think. Allow me to describe the various levels of violation you encountered, since it was more than one thing. It was methodical. It was calculated. It was stacked to keep you enclosed like a trap. Your voice was violated first. You were led to believe that raising your voice would exacerbate the situation. Your truth was not welcome in the climate that was established. There was posture that gave the impression that certain persons were unassailable authority. You chose to remain quiet because speaking felt too expensive, not because you had nothing to say. That was a deliberate move. To sustain falsehoods, you had to remain silent. Then there was a violation of your viewpoint. You were forced to doubt your own sense of reality. The term paranoid was used when you brought up discrepancies. You were labeled theatrical when you voiced your worries. When you saw red flags, you were given a bad label. Gaslighting worked so well that you began to question your own judgment. Doubting your instincts became commonplace. It became your habit to apologize for setting limits. That isn't a coincidence. This infraction is intended to confuse you, make you easier to manage, and keep you off balance so you can't see clearly what's going on. Additionally, your connections were breached. People who could have helped you were put at a distance from you. Whispers were circulated among common friends as cautions about you. They made stories that made you feel alone. Alliances were designed to seem dangerous to anybody who would support you. Therefore, many who may have been drawn to you stayed away. Opportunities that ought to have come your way were diverted. Logic-based collaborations never happened. You were denied entry because of ongoing work, not because you weren't deserving. Someone broke into your network. There was a violation of your community. There was a breach in your support system. Also, there was a violation of your resources. Financial possibilities were denied for some of you. When you were engaged, supported projects abruptly lost their financing. Inexplicably, deals that were progressing halted. Flowing sources of income were disrupted. This was no accident. This was not misfortune. This was deliberate economic sabotage meant to keep you suffering, dependent, and deprived of the freedom that comes with riches. There was information that you could leave control if you were financially secure. Your right to plenty was therefore infringed. Here's what was overlooked, however. In reality, every infraction served to vindicate you. You were shielded from something that wasn't for you by every door that was closed. Better alignments were made possible by each blocked link. You learned how to make your own streams from every resource that was shut off. It was believed that destruction was occurring. There was real progress. It was believed that limitation had been reached. In fact, the launch was taking place. Because when your vindication finally occurs, it will be so thorough, so comprehensive, and so indisputable that everyone will know that you were not only correct, but also that you were preparing for an unstoppable event. Let me explain what's going to occur. It is neither reversible, nor is it transient. You can't go back to sitting after you've gotten up. The truth cannot be concealed once it has been made public. The vision becomes unavoidable once people realize who you are in contrast to how you were portrayed. This door is one way. You're passing through. The reality on the other side is very different. The individuals who assaulted you were removed. Your name was cleansed. Your reputation was restored. Your worth was acknowledged, and your voice was heard. There's a desire to change this. There's a growing sense of momentum. There are attempts to apply the brakes. There are efforts to manage the story before it breaks free. Before the harm is discovered, attempts are being made to control it. However, it's too late. Uncontrollably uncontrollable events were put in motion. An uncontrollable chain reaction was initiated. Imagine that a train is already speeding down the tracks. There's a desire to halt it. There's a search for emergency brakes. There's a derailment search underway. But this train cannot be stopped. The truth is rapidly approaching. The vindication is coming in full force. Justice is showing up in the open. There will be attempts to conceal. There will be escape attempts. There will be attempts to pretend nothing occurred. However, everyone is observing. Everyone is paying attention. Additionally, when the spotlight falls on certain individuals and they are forced to account for their words and deeds, there won't be any decent answers. Instead, there will be stammering, deflection, excuses, and weak comments that just serve to reaffirm what you already knew. There was always guilt. You must have some knowledge of public vindication. Compared to private vindication, it strikes differently. When you know deep down that you were correct, it is known as private vindication. That's strong. Public vindication, however, occurs when everyone agrees that you were correct. That's transformational because your character will be praised in front of the same individuals who saw it killed. The same outlets that formerly defamed you will now be the ones who celebrate you. It will be your name that is lauded in the same places where it was dragged. That isn't fair. Poetic justice, it's heavenly theater. God is expressing publicly who you are and who supports you in that way. This is the reason it must be made public. Since the infraction was made public, the assault was not a private incident. It was deliberate to make sure others heard. It was deliberate to ensure that others saw. Your humiliation was intended for an audience. Heaven is thus ensuring that there be a crowd for your defense. Everyone who saw your destruction must see your reconstruction. The vindication must be seen by everyone who saw the transgression. That is the way justice operates. Balance is restored in this way. Your name is cleaned in this way. Not just for you, but for everyone who was swayed by deceit in general. Your vindication will be particularly delicious for those of you who were made to seem insane. It was all twisted. Your statements were misrepresented. You took action and gave false information. People were so confused about you that they were unsure of what to trust. All twisted and coiled like a pretzel. But that pretzel will be untangled by your vindication. Make all the lies right. Make any misunderstandings clear. Fix all of the distortions. What was unclear becomes quite evident. What was twisted straightens out. The gloom becomes visible. And when falsehoods fall like shattered glass at your feet, you will be standing there radiant in your truth. For the first time, everyone who believed those falsehoods will see you plainly. There will be spoken words. I misheard you entirely. I got tricked. Now I see you. Additionally, because your name won't just be wiped, that recognition is vindication. It will be respected. Being labeled insane, but then shown to be sane has many advantages. contentment with being labeled troublesome, and demonstrating principle. Vindication is described as dramatic and shown to be perceptive. You weren't insane. What was being concealed was visible to you. You weren't troublesome. You declined to engage in dysfunctional behavior. You weren't too theatrical. You handled incorrect conduct in a suitable manner. And when the truth comes to light, every charge that is made bounces back and strikes the person who made it. It turns out that those who labeled you unstable are chaotic. Individuals who labeled you tough are seen as manipulative. Those who accuse you of being paranoid are shown to be dishonest and completely out of character. And the same individuals who saw the building torn down will see it rebuilt. The truth will be heard by the same audience that heard falsehoods. You will be seen in true splendor by the same throng that viewed you in false light. That is the pinnacle of vindication, heavenly orchestration, and poetic justice. Someone poisoned wells before you did. Negative seeds were sown, and people were contacted before you could meet them. Stories, half-truths, and outright falsehoods were all presented in an effort to harm your reputation. People thus already had unfavorable expectations, misgivings, and preconceived beliefs when you eventually showed there. Instead of viewing you with new eyes, the attention shifted to finding reasons to support what was said. That is deliberate sabotage and purposeful wickedness. However, when vindication occurs, the contaminated wells are cleansed, the sown seeds are uprooted, the falsehoods are revealed, and those who were impacted by the defamation are aware that it was used. Pawns were made for someone else's goal. You were tricked into being mistreated. You were tricked into avoiding you. You were tricked into questioning yourself. A lot of people will feel awful. Some will say they're sorry. Some will attempt to set things right. To make up for your mistakes, some people will become your staunchest supporters. Not only does your vindication clean your name, sabotaged relationships are re-established. Lies cause doors to be opened. Manipulation creates connections that are blocked. The individual who slandered you believed that your future was in ruins. You could have fewer chances if your reputation was damaged. However, the plan is failing. People will be angry at the liar rather than you when they find out that falsehoods were spread about you. Weapons are being turned against their owners. Plans are failing, and all you had to do was wait for divine timing while standing in truth. Your infraction wasn't arbitrary. It was the objective. You were raped because you carried something some others wished to stop. Some individuals sought to stifle your voice. Some individuals sought to abort your calling. Some individuals sought to thwart your destiny. Some others sought to put an end to your anointing. The severity of the infringement is directly correlated with the weight of your belongings. You're not typical, which is why I came for you so hard. Come after you this aggressively because you pose a threat to ill-intentioned goals. False narratives are threatened by you. For counterfeit kingdoms, you're a problem. And that's precisely why your vindication will be so significant. Because it's more than simply clearing your name when heaven comes to your rescue. It's about setting yourself up for the task that others attempted to avoid. It's about raising you to the platform they sought to deny you. It's about giving voice to those who have attempted to stifle it. Your defense is calculated. Personal justice alone isn't enough. Kingdom positioning is what it is. That's right, you're going to be put in the right spot to fulfill your calling. And everyone who attempted to stop you is going to witness it happen and know the struggle was against heaven itself. When you could have reacted with just as much violence, you chose to be kind. You didn't. You held back when you had the opportunity to reveal what you know. You maintained your cool when you might have cursed them out. You maintained your integrity when you might have compromised. And you won't believe the rewards of that control are on the horizon. People will admire how you handle being mistreated as much as the fact that you were correct. Not only will you be admired for your victory, but also for the way you battled. Not only will vindication leave an impression, but your character will also be violated. Remember that scenario that went viral? For something trivial, someone was publicly humiliated in front of everyone. The person who humiliated had the authority and right to do so. However, the individual who was harmed just left with dignity rather than taking revenge, making a spectacle, or matching that bad energy. Quietly, they left. No bickering, no retaliation at that time. And the globe came together in support of the individual. Better platforms arose, and bigger possibilities emerged. In a short time, standing was taking place in a more esteemed location, carrying out the same action that was forbidden. However, with more exposure and support than before, the wrongdoer ended up seeming dumb, alone, and wrong. And for all the appropriate reasons, the individual who had been raped became the talk of the town. That's your tale. Because you trusted that God would defend you. You walked away from conflicts you might have won, preserve integrity while others compromised it, and maintain dignity when others lost it. And that choice is soon to be rewarded in paradise. Retaliation will open doors for you that vengeance could not have opened. Develop connections that vengeance would never have let you to. Step onto platforms that conflict would never have allowed you to reach. Higher terrain is always reached by taking the high path, and you're going to witness that confirmed in incontrovertible ways. Let me now introduce you to something genuine, the motor of destiny. I constructed this because I had had enough of seeing those who were selected suffer from assaults, treachery, and isolation while their adversaries walked free. I want to assist you in stepping fully into your destiny and accelerating the pace of your divine justice. The best part is that you don't even need to move. Destiny Engine turns their failure into your success. This isn't just another app for meditation. Declassified consciousness technology is what it is. The same mind programming techniques that your adversaries formerly used to create competitiveness, scarcity, and terror. Redesigned to match you with the improved, cooperative working structure and reclaim your sovereignty. It creates unique sequences that are aligned with your spiritual destiny. Putting on headphones, hitting play, and watching your opponents continue to dig their own graves is the hardest thing you will ever do. The group upgrade is in progress. Turn all they did to break you into fuel for your ascent by starting your Destiny Engine for only $1 now. The description contains a link. Something has changed in the heavenly courts. We have looked into your situation. The evidence has been looked at. The witnesses have testified, and the verdict is in. They are guilty, not you. There is guilt for infractions. Defamation carries guilt. There is guilt for sabotage. There is guilt for conspiracies. The punishment is now being carried out. The requirement is for restitution. They are ordering restoration. The vindication is being made public. And all of this is occurring in full view so that no one can refute it. Nobody can downplay it. Nobody can justify it. You will be astounded by how quickly things are going to change. This will cause locked doors to spring open. Broken relationships are going to be repaired. The blocked resources will start to flow. There will be opportunities that were passed up. And all of this will go place in front of those who said it would never occur. Because of the individuals who stated you would never get well, all of this will come to pass. The folks who cheered your violation will see all of this come to pass. The vindication is that. The justice is that. That is the divine retribution. Partnerships are emerging right now that you don't know about. Your name is being mentioned in conversations. People are thinking about you and talking about possibilities. Connections being built behind the scenes can help you greatly. You're going to attract attention with your public vindication, bringing in the proper kind of people, resources, and opportunities. What was stopped previously will flow. What was previously closed will reopen. What was previously denied will now be made available. An aura of expertise is emerging all around you. Behind the scenes, you've been polishing your trade, creating presence in secret, establishing your empire in silence while others shouted, and sharpening your abilities while others swore. And now it's time for that labor to be recognized. It's time to recognize greatness. It's time to show effort. The appropriate people will take note. Not folks that require persuading. People have eyes to see and ears to hear, not those who need evidence. Your worth will be recognized right away. This is about being judged by your actions rather than by what others think of you. Being evaluated based on your work rather than hearsay. Being judged on the basis of performance rather than a fabricated reputation. And the difference between the truth and falsehoods will be startling when others see your true work, your real skills, and your real personality. You'll question how someone could have stated anything unfavorable about you. There will be questions about how people trusted falsehoods. And there will be a willingness to collaborate with you, pick your brain, and support you. Clearing your name is just one aspect of your vindication. It's about increasing your effect, growing your influence, and improving your standing. Violation, you're not just returning to your previous location. Moving ahead, you're heading to your destiny. The setback was really arranged. Actually, the delay was due to preparation. In reality, the locked door served as defense against something that wasn't for you in the first place. The appropriate doors are now opening. The proper opportunities are showing up. Aligned alliances are developing, and everything is working out for your benefit. Your violators didn't simply assault you. All those connected to you were assaulted. Anyone who backed you had their judgment called into question. Aligning with you became socially expensive. Consequences were established for folks who stayed in your corner. For this reason, some individuals keep their distance. Not because falsehoods were taken seriously, but rather because there was a lot of pressure to leave you. But keep an eye on what happens after you are vindicated. The same individuals who felt compelled to take a step back will now take another stride forward. And this time, daring will be stronger. There will be a louder vocalization. Overcompensation will occur for the duration of the stillness. Your reputation is not the only thing that is restored by your vindication. Everyone who had faith in you when it wasn't widely accepted is vindicated. And this is on another level. Others who are experiencing similar breaches will be motivated by your public vindication. After hearing your experience, you'll realize that loneliness is a myth. People will see your accomplishment and be inspired to achieve their own triumphs. When you stand up, others will observe you and be inspired to do the same. Your vindication surpasses you. There's going to be a knock-on impact that affects strangers. That's why it needs to be public. It must thus be apparent, because it's not just about your justice in your tale. Encouraging those who have been violated is the goal. That vindication is feasible. There is something important about this moment that you must acknowledge. Everyone will see you in a whole different light after your vindication. They're going to tear off the labels that were put on you. People are going to break the boxes they attempted to put you in. People's attempts to restrict you are going to be completely destroyed. People will recognize you for who you really are when the truth is spoken, when your character is fully exposed, and when your narrative is conveyed without any distortions. You are who you really are, not how you were portrayed, how you were reputed to be, or how you were misrepresented. And that realization will be so potent that it completely changes how people see you. A new weight is going to be placed on your name. You're going to demand a new level of respect. The authority of your voice is going to change, because vindication improves your credibility in addition to clearing your reputation. It validates your personality. It confirms your judgment. We're going to go over everything you stated that was rejected again. You will be remembered for all of the things you warned of but were disregarded. We will respect what you stood for that was ridiculed. A degree of affirmation that makes every second of the violation worthwhile is going to happen to you. The energy surrounding your name is altering. Different reactions are occurring today when your name is mentioned in talks. Curiosity now reigns where hesitancy once existed. There is now interest where skepticism formerly existed. Consideration now exists where rejection formerly existed. The folks who wrote you off are giving you another chance. Those who rejected you are reevaluating you. People who accepted the falsehoods without doing any investigation are now studying you. And for those who believe the story about you to be true, what is being found is startling. It's important that your name is being recalibrated. People are beginning to wonder what information they were given. People are beginning to question why certain people were so determined to portray you in a bad light. People are beginning to discover trends in who spoke against you and what motive could have been at play. You won't just be cleared by your vindication. A whole system that was working against you will be revealed. And when that system is uncovered, you'll be in the light while everyone else involved will run for shelter. In the natural and spiritual worlds, something significant is now taking place. We're retrieving your words. All of your valid points that were rejected are being brought up again for consideration. All of your warnings that were disregarded are being recalled. Every limit you established that was crossed is accepted as legitimate. Those who would not listen are replaying your voice, which was hushed and ridiculed. And this time, Your words are bearing the weight of prophecy with the clarity that comes from seeing the big picture. You were correct. Regarding the warning signs, you were correct. Regarding the discrepancies, you were correct. Regarding the manipulation, you were correct. Regarding the agenda, you were correct. You were correct regarding certain people's personalities. Regarding the risks you anticipated, you were correct. Those who accuse you of being paranoid for seeing what was really there will now have to face the reality that you were acting with discernment while being duped into believing you were acting with delusion. Your vindication comes from that reckoning, which speaks louder than any defense you could have put up. This is your time, chosen one. You were prepared for this by all you went through. You were watering seeds that were ready to blossom with each tear you shed. You were being strengthened for the grandeur you were going to bear by each night of suffering. Every infraction you endured prepared the groundwork for the vindication you were going to get. It was all worthwhile. Everything had a purpose, and the reward is going to be so worthwhile that you'll realize why you had to endure what you did. Get up immediately, not tomorrow, no later, not when you're ready. Right now, get to your maximum height. Take use of your entire potential. Take complete control of your actions. Use your whole voice while speaking. Be completely confident as you go. The shadows that seemed so large are going to become smaller, like insects. The seemingly intractable mountains will soon become into molar hills. Now that you're on your feet, those giants who appeared invincible are going to lose their significance. And everything changes when you get up. The game is altered. Energy shifts. The story shifts. Results vary. Your vindication will be public, visible, and indisputable. It is loading now, getting near, and is unavoidable. You will be vindicated in front of the same individuals who observe your offense. The same areas where you were destroyed will also be areas where you are rebuilt. The same platforms that were used to spread false information will also be used to spread the truth. It will be seen by everyone who needs to see it. It will be known to all those who need to know. It will be seen by everyone who needs to. Heaven itself is correcting the record on your behalf. This is cosmic rectification and divine justice. The spotlight is coming, so prepare for your close-up. The stage is prepared, now prepare for your time. The promotion has been authorized, so prepare for your promotion. It's going to be broadcast, so prepare for your vindication. Recall the shadows that hung over you as you were seated. Do you recall how enormous everything seemed from that vantage point? Do you recall how someone pointed down at you, occupying your space and obstructing your light? You're standing now, however, and those shadows are nothing when seen from your vantage point, your entire height, and your actual strength. Insects are unimportant. The advantage was just a delusion. Perception was the weapon used. The demonstration of superiority was short-lived. However, you have a permanent position, genuine authority, and public vindication. When you get up, things change this fast. When you stand, tables flip this quickly. When you talk, narratives change drastically like this. You're going to be counted in by those who counted you out. You're going to be written about by those who wrote you off. You're going to startle those who disregarded you. You're going to be vindicated in front of everyone, even the folks who raped you. And there's no way to stop it. The thing cannot be controlled. There is no way to keep it contained. It's the end of your violation season. The time for your vindication has arrived, and it will surpass your wildest expectations. Everyone in the audience is watching, listening, and waiting right now. The silence of your abusers will be deafening when you take the stage, enter the limelight, and say the truth. Now, where are the people? Why is it so quiet? What became of all that conversation? Crickets, because the time has come and there is knowledge, emotion, and sensing. The truth has been revealed. The vindication is made public. And, selected one, you're standing tall. Standing firmly in your truth and in your authority. Standing in your defense. The shadows have vanished. Insects, giants, and violators in hiding. But you're getting up. You're radiant. You are being strongly, publicly, and irrevocably vindicated. It's your season. Now is your time. You are vindicated by this. And it begins right now.